Okay, so nothing is quite peak Magic 2020, 2019 like having a mechanic like this draw a second card mechanic like Improbable Alliance here. Whenever you draw your second card, get a blue fairy. And Irencrag Pyromancer, whenever you draw your second card each turn, deal 3 damage to any target. And then they print another similar copy of these effects, only it's green, and it's generally better than the other one. So, Jolrael Recluse here. 1/2 for 2. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, make a 2/2 green cat token. Pay 6 until end of turn. Creatures you control have base power and toughness of X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So, we've played some draw 2 decks in the past. Not since Recluse was printed, though, so we're giving this a try here in Historic today. We've got Royal Scions and Teferi Master of Time, a way to provide a steady flow of second draws each turn. We've got Frantic Inventories and Opposites, always do that too. Uro draws. We've got Questing Beasts, just a reasonable beater. We've got our Temur colored mana base here, and some various smatterings of interaction in the sideboard. Someone asking about bumping things for completing the raid tutorial. Just drop me a DM of what name you completed the raid tutorial with, and what you'd like to bump up, and that'll get taken care of after the stream today. Saw some other folks using that command in chat. If you're someone who, I've got chat open right now, but if you're someone who would like to chat all the time when we're in sub-only mode, if you'd like to have a free sub gifted to the channel, check out the raid sponsor, install their game on PC using my link, and play through the tutorial. And I will gift you a sub to the channel as a thank you for checking them out. So, Laris of the Dream Den here. Probably the enchantments deck. Yeah, it's probably fine in that matchup. We don't have a ton of removal main, and having removal here feels pretty key. I didn't update the stream decker. Let's do that. I feel like game 1, this is likely going to be a pretty challenging matchup, if only because we don't have a ton of removal. Post-board, I've got like Shocks and Fries we're going to get to bring in, along with potentially Flame Sweep that could maybe help. Direct message, ideally, Crappy Lawyer, either here on Twitch or on Discord. Discord or Twitch, whichever's easier for you. Ornithopter, eh? Well, I don't think I'm lightning striking an Ornithopter, so I think we're just playing out our Recluse here. Boo. Interesting to see that they've got a removal in their main deck. I wonder if that's been good against like they're playing a lot of mirrors or something like that. Morning, Soren. Yeah, the 11 a.m.-ish, I think is gonna stay steady. Christie's gonna start work back up again soon, but I think she'll be able to start pretty early in the morning, so I think we're gonna be able to keep my 11 a.m. start time even when she goes back to work. I am not doing Runeterra today, so I've got a sponsored segment for Raid that we're going to wrap up with, and then I'll be back to doing Runeterra stuff tomorrow. You can always find my schedule up on my website and my Twitter and stuff like that. I think my Go Live notification still said Runeterra in it, because I forgot to update that, but my schedule stays updated below the stream and on my website. No, she'll be working remotely still, Niv. Alistair Stone, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Just keeping me around. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a hard time racing here, chat. At least they don't have lifelink yet. Yeah, Raid definitely, it's been advertised a lot, and to the point of being a meme, I think, and, it's definitely, like, gotcha style, will let you spend as much money as you want to spend on it, but, like, the actual core gameplay is, like, super reasonable if you're into, like, make numbers bigger type games. Reminds me a lot of a mix of like Pokemon and Diablo 2. I've played both of those types of games to Into the Ground personally. Apathy, thank you for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So, dead to this Ornithopter in the air. Don't have anything to stop that. We've got 2 pieces of protection here. Like I said, I think, oh, I could have, no, the phasing it out doesn't do anything, right? Because they have, oh, I guess I could, no, because if I Lightning Strike their 1-drop, they can make it indestructible with the other 1-drop. Yeah, they have Iliad there. I could strike the Iliad, but they have the dog to protect it. So the Iliad gives protection for my color, chat. Chat made me doubt my concession. We're good. We were dead. Is this a Flame Sweep matchup? I feel like it probably is. They had, all right, I'm just gonna time people out that are telling me I'm wrong after I just got done explaining why we were dead. We need to play Teferi earlier. Maybe. I mean, if I play Teferi earlier, I guess we get 1 more turn, but they just attack it to dead. It's probably a Flame Sweep matchup. The question is, what do I want to trim? Frantic Inventory is probably slow. I wonder if I'm supposed to cut some of my draw 2 payoffs. Questing Beast is a little slow. Maybe this is supposed to come out if I'm boarding in Flame Sweep. Maybe that's the line. We keep Alliance and Pyromancer. Let's try this. I think we have to be as interactive as possible because our deck just does not have the ability to race what the opponent is doing. That's a good observation. So if we phase it out and they give it pro blue, they lose a couple of their enchantments. That's true. Okay, so we weren't dead next turn, but we also weren't racing them, so I concede that I could have not died that turn. I don't think we could win that game. I don't think there was a series of draws that allow us to win the game. It's an okay start. Being able to generate flying blockers will be very good against things like Ornithopter and their flying enchantments. I think the opponent's archetype is currently the best linear deck in the format, most likely. Between its ability to protect its threats and its ability to gain life against other decks that are trying to race it. So opting now at sorcery speed so we can generate a blocker. I'm going to go ahead and shock this now to deal 4 damage to their face. We're looking to avoid the enchant creature that gives lifelink here. They have the lifelink enchantment. Good chance we're just dead. Okay. Nice red removal, right? As is often the case that we've talked about with regards to Magic in general, playing interactive decks in Magic is generally speaking a trap / bad. Being linear and looking to stop your opponent's interaction as opposed to looking to be the interactive deck is generally the route that you take to be most competitive in Magic. Hey, Penguin, thanks for the 15 months. Yeah, I mean, to set a low bar, Arena without playing against Teferi is more enjoyable than Arena playing with Teferi. Hey, T-Stan, thank you for checking out the raid sponsor. I appreciate it. These Curious Obsessions, let them draw a bunch of cards, also making their thing bigger, making it difficult to race. We'll see. This Questing Beast here might let us might let us race them successfully. They haven't hit a lifelink enchantment yet, so that could be our saving grace. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Aether Gust. Yep, feels magic, man. I guess I'm just leaving this back to block next turn. I think I'm leaving that on top. I think Questing Beast is better than my average draw. With the second Curious Obsession here, jump blockings and my life total going down. Jump blocking is definitely better than getting another hit in for one. That's awesome, Marty. I actually like the artwork on a lot of the invocations. So, like, having the artwork but not dealing with the god-awful frame sounds fantastic. Okay, sweet. I think, so there were, in the spoiled cards, were there any cards not on the list? Like, was the data mine stuff wrong at all, or could I start updating the deck list on my website tonight with cards from the data mine? The articles were missing cards, okay. That is relevant too. We're just dead, right? They have 3 attackers. In your melee settings, Tsunayumi, unlink your Twitch profile and relink it. There's some kind of bug with the Twitch API that if you haven't linked it recently, it loses what your current sub status is. So you go into the settings for your MTG Melee account and then unlink and relink. Howdy Delta, good morning. We're so incredibly close to Diamond. Find out. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out if this deck's a dumpster fire or not based on where we end up at with regards to that, huh? I don't know what Soul Seer does. So probably not. Loses indestructible until end of turn. No, a 3-mana card to try and interact with their things that get real big real fast doesn't seem particularly good. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana total here. I'm gonna kill the Land War Elves. I want to keep them off of Ugin. Awesome. I'm glad you got in, Yummy. Nemesis, thanks for the 37 months. Welcome back. We need Path. I mean, need is a strong word. In general, I am in favor of, rather than printing better answers, instead scaling down the power level of threats. What happens when you keep constantly making things better and better and better is that you make the playable card pool smaller and smaller and smaller. So the more powerful cards your format collects, the less playable cards you have in your format overall, because the litmus test for what is playable and what's not becomes harder and harder to pass. We'd really love to draw an untapped land here so we can play Recluse. I assume we're gonna see them start cranking up Blast Zone here. Pyromancer getting to shoot down their lands here is pretty great, though. Litmus test. And then we probably can't win from here, right? There's a good chance that this deck's gonna be maybe we'll do 3 magic decks today if this one keeps going the way it's going so far. Bring in some counter spells. Yeah, that's a good example. Right now, there's some discussion as to which discard spells you want to play. Soon, Thoughtseize will be on Arena, and then the answer is you play 4 Thoughtseize, and then you only have to ask yourself the question, which discard spell do you want to play if you're playing more than 4 discard spells? Same thing, like, people often talk about, well, can we print Counterspell into Standard? Or can we print Counterspell into formats like Modern? It's like, well, right now you have to choose, do you want Mana Leak, Negate, Disdainful Stroke, Mystic Dispute, which Counterspell do you want? Whereas if Counterspell's legal, you just, like, play Counterspell, because it's the best one. There's not currently a Temur Ultimatum deck in the queue, no. This is fine. Would love to draw a 3rd land on 3, so we can go Recluse into Scions, but that's fine. What is this deck trying to do? It's trying to leverage the draw a 2nd card mechanic that a number of cards have. Yeah, they're putting back the negation into Historic. That's true. We did specifically need untapped land.
What is my strategy here?
What is my strategy here? So they have 5, 6, 7 mana next turn, 8 for a creature. I think I can tap out for Questing Beast this turn, right? I'm pretty sure. Do you run Wrath of God instead of Shatter now? Yeah, almost assuredly.
In this land, we are all connected. The land fights for us.
Does blue-green ramp want a 5 mana counter? Well, that card's not a 5 mana counter. It's a free counter that you pay 5 mana for later. And I think the idea that a ramp deck would want that effect's probably pretty accurate. Yeah, like if what you're doing is winning the game or effectively winning the game that turn, it's basically a free counter spell. My 2/2's not looking particularly impressive in the face of 3/3s. Morning, Jin. Wub, wub, wub. That's a good question. Are there any cards on Magic Arena that regenerate? It's actual 0, right?
stratagem will surely overcome you.
Fight on without me.
Offer to throw away a 3/3 here to smack them in the face. I'll start with Teferi, Master of Time, and loot and see what we get.
My skills are aged to perfection.
Okay.
Fragile and fleeting. Cherish what little you find.
Wow, I can't phase out my own stuff. Are you kidding me? Oh, why would Magic have interesting and valuable counterplay in 2020? I just assumed, I had assumed that I could target their stuff, my own stuff there. I had assumed that I could target my own stuff. I assumed that Magic had interesting, meaningful counterplay in the year 2020. Apologies for thinking I could have a big brain and use it to gain an advantage. Really hate crap like that. So all those, like, there was a big push to, like, change a lot of that templating to be stuff you don't control. That, yeah, it's all one-sided crap these days. It's real sad and annoying. I think we're gonna win this game, in spite of that. We got Disdainful Stroke here now for the Sugin. Yeah, phasing, for reference, phase things technically don't leave and enter. That does not trigger into the battlefield effects. Phasing basically means pretend this thing doesn't exist. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Negates and strokes. Stroke and negate both definitely instrumental there in us having a real shot. Maybe I'm supposed to have some shocks or flame sweeps in against their Land War Elves and Oracles of Moldiah. Very, very possible. Do I bottom opt, or do I bottom Teferi? Why do you think I should rebuild my deck for one matchup, Mark the Shark? It's a very Twitch chat position to take. Oops, queued into a deck where I need sideboard cards, readjust my sideboard, put a bunch of counterspells in, and then you queue into, like, red aggro, or other matchups where your counterspells aren't good. Like, again, if you're going to be interactive, you have to accept the fact that there's always going to be ranges of matchups where your interactive cards are just bad. Being proactive and linear is essentially always encouraged in Magic. There are definitely formats where the interactive decks are so busted they can be overbearing, and then they're fine, and they're the best decks. But on average, in most formats of Magic, being linear is generally preferred to being interactive for this reason. It's a feature, it's not a bug. Just like how the core design of Magic works, essentially. Rude. Hey, at least it's not a Nissa, huh? At least it wasn't a Nissa. Something that I was unaware of that someone had to correct me on at some point, so I'm sure it wasn't being used maliciously, but I would encourage you or discourage you from using the acronym WOG for Wrath of God. That is a slur in some places, so please don't do that in my spaces. Thank you. Howdy, Seb. Good morning. Happy Blur's Day. Yeah, Wrath is 2 more letters and far more appropriate. Good games, Ivo. Good luck on the rest of your laddering. Yeah, and I'm like, you know, I'm all for educating people. That's what I'd actually used that on stream before, and I wasn't aware. I was happy someone let me know. Wrath is a better acronym than shortening it to the first 3 letters. I think that banning cards are ways Watch to use to create metas. I don't understand your question. I need less corporate speak, more specificity. Alright, well, it wasn't the untapped land we wanted for Christmas, but it'll do in a pinch.
Learn my lesson.
Courage is the greatest breath.
I will land.
Yeah, I should have +1 in response. Forgot that my Planeswalker did that. Thanks for reminding me, Tobias. I appreciate it. Yeah, remastered set releases on the whatever day that is. The 13th, Thursday. How does phasing work with tokens? They come back.
I enjoy the proper application of knowledge.
I'm going to hold on to this extra land to discard to Akraxa or to loot away next turn with Royal Scions. Speaking of people's answers not lining up well into their opponent's threats, Grixis control getting their comeuppance here with our enchantment planeswalker creature deck. To be fair, once upon a time, phasing used to get rid of tokens. They updated the rules for that at one point in the last few years. Phasing used to just get rid of tokens. Yeah. You used to be able to, and equipment that was attached to tokens phased out and never came back. There was actually I think it's a 1 blue card that saw play in Legacy that you would play it to phase out the germ token on Batterskull because it got rid of the Batterskull permanently. Vision Charm, yeah. If your deck didn't have a way, to deal with artifacts, you needed to be Batterskull and Legacy, you would do that. It does not. They updated it, Navier. Yeah, tokens come back now. I don't know when exactly they updated that rule because it got updated during a time where I wasn't playing Legacy and didn't care. I don't understand. I reject your premise that banning cards. Magic players are so fucking weird, man. I just can't do it. I'm not gonna. The taboo nature Magic players put around the idea of banning cards and attaching this artificial nonsense BS purity testing to how these formats are made. This weird idea that, like, if a card gets printed, that card needs to be legal or else the game is a failure is so weird to me. Games are supposed to be things you should play for fun, and whether or not the format is fun on average should be the number one concern. Not some weird purity test of they printed this card so it should be something we're allowed to play. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh's a little bit weird because they don't have a rotating format, right? And they basically change their format based on power creep and ban lists only. I think Stroke's good here. Yeah, maybe. It's probably true. I guess they have 4 mana sweepers as well. Irencrag Pyromancer doesn't sound super exciting. I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh competitively, but I believe that's what I heard secondhand. Someone in chat saying that that's accurate. They don't do a rotating format. Yeah, the whole finance aspect is weird. Speaking of finance aspect and this application, based on the leak, do we know what the total number of rares is in Amonkhet Remastered? I saw some people in the subs Discord talking about how there were more rares and mythics than in a normal set. The Lurking Blade, thanks for the 30 months. And with it being over 300 cards, it's probably going to take more than the normal 200 packs or so, I would imagine, to get a full set. It's like 10% more rares and mythics. What's can you give me an actual number? I don't have a baseline to know what 10% more means. Like 10% more of what is not something I have. Can you give me a raw number of there's X rares? I assume we're gonna lose Alliance here. Their Grixis deck has a hard time interacting with enchantments. There's 31 mythics and 75 rares. Okay, so 75 rares means I need 300 rares for a playset. Right? Math? 300 rares for a playset?
Mind and body. I have just the trick for this.
Magic's fun. It's an interesting game where players make meaningful choices and have back and forth, and definitely don't just get locked out of the game by single cards. That's why they can't play. Definitely not a lot of that in Magic. From the spoiler, it looks like there's 304 cards with 31 mythics and 75 rares. Okay. Man, that is a lot of mythics, huh? That's 120 mythics for a playset. So like the bad faith position when you talk about games need to be sculpted so they're fun is people always bring up, well, fun is subjective, which is definitely true, right? Like, what I find fun and what someone else finds fun aren't always going to line up. That being said, there's definitely things that a majority of people find fun versus a majority of people find unfun. And I don't think it's a stretch to say you should balance around the majority rather than a minority. Like, for example, a majority of people playing against Blood Moon is unfun. I don't think it's a stretch to say, to make that statement. There are definitely people that love playing with Blood Moon, but like for a majority of people, having an enchantment come down and lock them out of playing is not a good time. Similar to Teferi Time Raveler, right? Like, there's a lot of people, there are plenty of people that probably enjoyed Teferi Time Raveler, but I think there's far more people that were like, nah, screw that card, it's awful and makes Magic awful. People have done the math, and after getting all the rares, you'll still be missing about 2/3 the mythics. Yeah, that's normal for Magic. I often tell people, when people talk about whether or not they're a whale in Magic Arena, the easiest way to tell if you're a Magic Arena whale is Arena whales aren't short on rare wild cards. If you're someone who's short on mythic wild cards, but not rares, that's the #1 sign that you're a Magic Arena whale. People who are minnows and dolphins, they're choked on rares.
my first time being the hero.
What does it mean to be a whale? Well, it means you can communicate with my people. Hmm. 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 Worst neighbor NA, thank you for the 22 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Shout out to some of our Hoaglandia whales in chat, throwing up their emotes. I appreciate you all. Allow me to sing you the song of our people. Nah, it's real. I promise you, Jorg, that it's really not empirical. I think you could say the majority of people find prison cards unfun, and that's accurate. But it's definitely not. There's not objectivity there. It's not empirical. You are taking your feelings and trying to make them out to be facts when they're just not. Got punished for attacking with my thing there, which is unfortunate, so we're going to get to trigger her again on their turn. Hey, DMS, I'm glad you're enjoying the Enigmatic deck. I think that one's really sweet. Happy birthday, Just John. And I don't do a whole song. I will say happy birthday, though. Oh, Roller Dude. Sorry about that. Thanks for the half a year. Welcome back.
Slow down.
So even if they sweep the board here, we've got a follow-up questing beast to run them down with. Never fails that if your deck is bad and you're struggling to get match win, someone's bound to show up with Grixis control and give you a W.
Past, present, and future. Hone your prowess.
Are you getting any sort of draft format? Yeah. One of the points of remastered sets is to create a limited environment. They also do that. You will be able to draft with packs that you set. Shout out to the Grixis players, giving my deck that's otherwise a limp noodle a chance. Think we bottom that. Luris means they're playing the enchantments deck most likely, so Pyromancer plus Scions can maybe help us. How far in advance are formats designed / planned out? Usually a couple of years, I would assume. Although supplemental things like this is probably the best runner deck. Supplemental things like Amonkhet Remastered, I'd imagine takes a lot less design and development time because it's just like picking a list of cards out and then making sure they're programmed. It's not like they're designing entirely new cards. Please don't pierce me. Please don't pierce me. God bless us, everyone.
Let me synthesize the facts.
While obviously I'm human and I'm frequently wrong, if you ask my wife especially, I would be kind of surprised if the Scarab God is a tier 1 card in Historic. I don't believe it's consistently a tier 1 type effect in Pioneer currently. The power level of other things going on tend to push it down a good bit. Scarab God's a sweet card. I have already accepted a build-around submission for the Scarab God, in fact. I can't wait to get my Scarab God Mystic disputed. Lol.
Let me synthesize the facts.
I've got the chat open until people annoy me to plug the raid sponsor for this week. If you're someone that normally can't chat here during the Magic segments and you'd like a chance to join the Hoaglandia community at no cost to yourself, give Raid a download using my link, and I'll gift you a sub to the channel if you play through the tutorial. As a thank you for checking out the sponsor. We get up to 170 installs over the course of a week. I get a bonus, so I appreciate the people that check that out. I think we're turning into just a mono interactive deck here. Just as many pieces of removal as possible. Yeah, you did it, Jin. I appreciate it. The Hoaglandia clan clearing the Nightmare clan boss easily. Yeah, we down UNM daily. We have a second clan that also downs the Nightmare clan boss. Yeah, there's a bunch of us that play. We've been downing the Ultra Nightmare boss consistently for like a week now. Week or two. It's been a little bit. Hey, Nakamasa, thanks for completing the tutorial. Drop me a DM and let me know if you'd like to bump something in the queue or have a sub gifted to you as a thank you for that. Well, I think we're just playing a tapped land. That's the top of the clan boss chain for the time being, Hunox. They're supposed to be adding a second clan monster at some point to fight, but they haven't posted details on that yet. Yeah, they have up to 30 player clans, Jin, and there's they call it the clan boss monster that your group can work together to kill each day to give everybody extra prizes. We have like 4 or 5 different clans for people in Hoaglandia, depending on what level their account's at. Hey, no problem, Eagle. Probably dead here. I don't think we can basically ever win when they have Staggering Insight going. Yeah, it is crossplay between PC and mobile. We need a braid today, something like that. Why doesn't keyword Soup Monster have reach, chat? Like I said earlier, I think this matchup's pretty exceptionally bad for us. I don't know that we really have much of a shot here. We're actually going to play something very similar to the opponent's archetype as our next deck today. We're going to play an enchantments variation that's got a red splash in it, so it's Jeskai. Yeah, the tutorial should take less than 10 minutes. So we have Improbable Alliance here that can provide us with blockers if we find a good enabler for it. So hoping to draw like Royal Scions or Teferi here. Staggering Insight, just their single best card against us, although they went ahead and we have Lightning Strike here, which is nice, since they just jammed it. Raid's a very grindy game in general for Noda. Even if you're spending money, it's still fairly grindy. Oh, I forgot to check the shillings log yesterday. Yeah, they're all in there, Wolfie. It'll get bumped up today probably if I remember. Yeah, these big monsters and life gain are both hard to answer. Well, should have played the tapped land there. Bit of a misclick. Yeah, a braid is coming in Amonkhet Remastered. Yeah, starting next turn, even if we break, we can just start paying 6 to make 2 1/1s, which is nice. As long as they don't find another lifelink enchantment, we're in an okay spot. Although they have Luris looming with the lifelink enchantment in their bin, so it could be coming back that way pretty soon. Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see if... I think the Cat Oven deck is probably one of the best things in Historic right now, and I'll be interested to see if that remains the case once it breeds in the format. So I had to pay 2 life here because I clicked on the wrong land last turn, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Hey, Worry, thanks for checking out the raid sponsor. I appreciate the support. Was it worth cycling instead? Nah, I don't think so. Correct, Fear Grant. So, if you install it on desktop and like it, you can link it with the mobile account, but my promotion specifically only works for desktop installs. Oh, protection doesn't stop questing beast. Yeah, that's a good call. Accurate. Forgot about that. Oh, keyword Soup Monster. My opponent knew how magic worked and they didn't attack. I forgot how magic worked, so I didn't attack. Alright, now they're going to get to hit us and gain a bunch of life, which is unfortunate. This thing's got lifelink. Wonder if they'll give it pro blue. Oh, if they have another enchantment, we're just dead, right? No, if they give it pro blue, their enchantments fall off. I wonder if they'll remember that. Oh no. Moments before the disaster, chat. Moments before the disaster. Moments before the disaster. GG. Protection's an incredibly intuitive and interesting mechanic that I'm definitely glad that Wizards of the Coast decided to bring back. It definitely wasn't a god-awful decision to bring back Protection. It's very, very easy to understand for the players. Has Hollowed One been spoiled yet? Not officially, but it's on the list. It's on the, it was on the list of stuff. Someone explained to me how Questing Beast and Protection works. So, Questing Beast says damage can't be prevented, and Protection prevents damage from colors of the source of your choice. So, if they block Questing Beast and give their thing protection from green, Questing Beast says, hey, you can't prevent my damage, Death Touch kill you. There's no way Hollow One is playable without Burning Inquiry. Maybe I could see it being okay. I could see it maybe being okay in like the cycling archetype. Yeah, in red white cycling it could be okay. Look at that. Hashtag sometimes lucky, chat. Sometimes lucky. Do I have some disenchants in my sideboard? I feel like I probably want some disenchants in my sideboard, huh? That archetype's gonna be popular. Popular. Do 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 do. Honestly, not only disenchants, but maybe I want some Brazen Borrowers too. Maybe I want some Brazen Borrowers. This is gonna feel kind of crazy to say, but Uro feels kind of mediocre in this deck. Questing Beast has been good. Recluse has been good, but I kind of haven't really been into the Uros. Let's put a few Borrowers in the main. Inventory's been neutral. Oh, what's the cycling destroy an artifact or enchantment card? Wilt? This is probably the one I want, right? What problem is Borrower solving? Being able to not interact with a giant creature that has a bunch of enchantments on it. Couple copies of Wilt seems fine, right? How's this been? Better than expected. The key to not being disappointed is low expectations, chat. Gem Razor's kind of cute. Gem, we have a lot of fairy tokens we can mutate onto. We have cat tokens that can mutate onto. Sure, in. Could see Gem Razor being okay. And then naturally, I just cut a Flame Sweep and a Shock from my board, so we've queued into goblins now. Because that's how that works. A tale as old as magic. I do not fear the unknown. You ever thought about guessing your matchups better? It would make Magic quite easier. Alright, chat. They're ignoring the Scions. They have elected for my face to be the place.
Let us plan for the trials ahead.
So Frantic Inventory here is going to draw 2 cards, which will trigger Improbable Alliance here, which is nice. Yeah, they're attacking here. I'm going to double block Snoop for sure. Fire Prophecy. Maybe Fire Prophecy hits Planeswalkers, right? I could see that being okay.
Let me synthesize the facts.
This is why we killed their Hastemaker. It only hits creatures. It's probably not then. Lightning Strike hits Narset, which is pretty important. Okay. Their Muxus is broken. They should file for comp. Yep. Came in for that. Hey, thanks Strathmar for checking out the raid sponsor. I appreciate that. Drop me a DM and let me know if you'd like to bump something in the queue or have a sub gifted to you as a thank you for that. Are we just alting the Royal Scions here? I think so.
Let us unleash our united strength.
This lethal, 8 plus 7 plus 7. Where are you getting plus 7 from? Hey, Magical Carvatical. Thanks for checking out the raid sponsor. Appreciate it. Oh, the Jolrael activation. Oh, I forgot she has text. There you go. Yeah, that was actually lethal. Good call. Please take the time to include the Y. If you would have taken the time to include the Y the first time, you probably would have gotten there. That's why it's important that you explain the lines. Don't just be a monkey and bang on your keyboard and type enter after each line. I promise you can write a full thought before hitting send. It's a good catch. I wasn't thinking... I'm not used to this card having activation. It's usually not why you're playing it. But with the flying tokens, it's super relevant. One, two, three, four. Then we kill them with this activation next turn. Yep. Hey, G-Pod, thanks for completing the raid tutorial. I appreciate you checking out the sponsor. Drop me a DM and let me know if you'd like a sub gifted or bump a deck in the queue. I'll take care of that after the stream today. Good catch. Let's remember this as text, right? Again, like the best draw to payoff being green is pretty peak Magic 2020. I think this is probably actually a Brazen Borrower out matchup. I'd rather have cards that are actual removal. Probably Questing Beast too. Is Questing Beast a little bit slow? That 2-mana green card just didn't have enough lines of text. Yep. Yeah, this with the Alliance is just like actually incredibly powerful. What do you think of this setup? I know Recluse is a little bit awkward with Flame Sweep, but like we can sequence these accordingly a lot of the time, I think. The raid sponsorship is only for new accounts, Draka. Yeah, this hand's awesome. It needs a way to consistently get cards. You're looking for like Royal Scion or Teferi here, but we have a good base here, and hopefully Flame Sweep can bridge us to finding one of those cards that we need. I think I just pass here. Let's let them Muxus off the top of their deck. So I had clicked a little bit too late. I should have put a draw step stop. If I would have put a draw step stop, I could have swept in response to this. So that was a mistake on my part. Oh, magic. So, if I would have put a stop on their draw step, I could still sweep there, but they're gonna get to sacrifice everything and make a bunch of mana and play things out of their hand. So, like, I could have stopped them from attacking there, but I can't win that game anymore, chat. So, that was my mistake. I needed to stop on their draw step so I could look at their top card to sweep their things before they got to make mana with them. Alright, in... Hey, Worry, can you drop me a DM on Twitch so I remember, and I will get you the sub gift after I'm all done today? I have no idea what you're referring to there, Jamie. Hey, Brock Toon, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Ivan, thanks for checking out the sponsor. Appreciate it. So, sweeping doesn't really accomplish much here, because they have these extra tokens anyways, so we're going to hold the Flame Sweep till after they Mux this. Do I enjoy playing Raid? Yeah, I play an incredible amount of Raid Shadow Legends. If you don't believe me, hop in the subs Discord server and look at my amount of activity in that channel. If you hang out through and we actually play Raid later today, you'll also see my account is incredibly well developed. Fear Grant, thanks for finishing the tutorial. I appreciate it. In general, I don't take sponsorships for games that I don't enjoy playing. Rather than playing a game I don't like, I'd much rather just play more Magic or Runeterra or other card games I enjoy. Oh, I should have attacked with Questing Beast, right? Don't you mean whaled? By raid standards, I'm not really a whale in that game. Alright, so even an untapped land's a good draw here, because it'll let me trigger this. A draw to source is the absolute best draw, like this. Danon, thank you for the 2 years. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
Let us plan for the trials ahead.
What are raid standards? Probably like 4 figures a month. For people that haven't played gacha games before, they will let you spend as much money as you are willing to give them. Yeah, raid basically has no cap on how much money you can spend on it. Yep, yeah, your name, Fear Agent. It looks like you registered and just finished it. Yep. Your name pops up on the side. Have you ever streamed Raid? Yeah, this is like our 3rd or 4th time doing a sponsored segment for them. And I've done a couple of non-sponsored things too. Are they out of Muxus? Do they not have another Muxus here? What's the... Did anyone ever put a price on how much it would cost to buy bags to get every card in Arena? Well, I have basically every card in Arena, and I've put about $3,500 into the client over the course of the last few years. I log all my spending for tax purposes. This is my job. Yeah, my spending includes collecting some premium cards too, of course. So it's probably a little less than that to only get non-premium cards. Am I just sending these blasts upstairs at this point? I think so, because I can erase them, right? Royal Scions trigger will be lethal next turn. GG! Is this deck any good? I don't know if it's good, but it's definitely great. So I actually messed up game 2, Asta. I had a bit of a misclick myself. Game 2, I had a flame sweep, and I intended to flame sweep during your draw step, but I didn't click the draw step stop soon enough. So I would have been able to make you not Muxus me on that turn 4 in the second game if I had clicked appropriately. So I suppose one good misclick deserves another. Yeah, looks like you did, Zeke. Drop me a DM. I'd be happy to gift you a sub after the stream's done today. Thanks for checking out the sponsor. Yeah, the fact that our deck doesn't really benefit from the ramp Uro provides is a big deal, I think. I think we're holding this op till after Irencrag Pyromancer comes down, so that way we can shoot something with it. Probably going to end up bouncing something with Brazen Borrower next turn, and that's perfect. So, like, we'll get to bounce something with Brazen Borrower, play Pyromancer on 3, play Pyromancer on 4, opt and shoot 2 things. Max owns the world. Thank you for the 22 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm gonna go ahead and bounce this turn to keep them off of a Spectacle trigger. Probably not today. Did Runeterra, is it balance patch related? How far do you have to get through the tutorial for me to get the bonus? Until your name pops up on stream, Mage Cub. Usually it's like 5 to 10 minutes worth of gameplay. They changed the tutorial since I started playing like 6 months ago, so I don't know exactly where it stops. The Paladin will pop up in the corner there when you get far enough. They released info about the new set. Oh, that's sweet. I don't know if we'll get to that today, since maybe we'll do it after the raid segment. I plan to do magic into raid. I think I'm supposed to no blocks here, because I don't want this to die to a lightning strike or a spectacle card. Like, getting 2 Pyromancer triggers next turn is pretty important, I think. Yeah, I think if they want to kill Pyromancer, I want them to have to spend 2 cards to do it. Okay, and there's a Teferi to provide us with a steady flow of triggers from Pyromancer, which is nice. Am I blocking this turn with the Teferi draw? I don't think I am. We've played how many burn spells? Just 1, 2. Yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to block there. I feel like I'm kind of obligated to block next turn. Oh, damn, I have to shock in this. That's awkward. Losing an extra 2 there is a pretty big deal.
If nothing else, I will protect the motive.
I am not doing a Runeterra segment today, Braveheart. We'll be back with 2 Runeterra decks tomorrow. think I'm kind of priced into blocking now. Like, taking another 4, and if they have a burn spell to kill this, they could just point that burn spell at my face. Yeah, I think there's a chance I should have just blocked last time, too. Maybe I could also justify down-ticking this on here to deny them Spectacle for the turn. I could see that. This is actually an incredible draw, because Opt with Teferi in play means I get to trigger this again on their turn. We have to try and close this game out now before my opponent burns us out from 7. Which, with Questing Beast plus Pyromancer going upstairs, might be possible, he says before he dies. Yeah, I think the turn I didn't block this when they had 2 of those was a mistake, and I should have blocked. Teferi was a big pickup for this archetype. Feels really strong. If we can dodge a burn spell, we can dodge a ball here. Got a fade. Need them to not have 4 damage between this card and this card. Alright, everybody clench. Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on the sweater already, but you keep on forgetting what you wrote down. The whole crowd roars so loud you open your mouth, but the burn spell won't come out. He's hoping now, everybody choking now. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Burn my face! Burn my face! Alright, alright. Nailed it. Shock in. Tank concede. What a refreshing change, chat. Tank concede. Much preferred to tank kill you. Paid actors. Is this a Flame Sweep matchup? It doesn't kill Bone Crusher. It doesn't kill Thermo. I feel like the answer is no. I think I just want my shocks in. Greenerski, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I wonder if I want, like, is it crazy? Like, maybe you want a sideboard Uro in this deck for these aggressive matchups? Regret in not bottoming a land on the mulligan, but it is what it is. Maybe I'm supposed to play the island to hold up Lightning Strike here. Punished. War Boss wasn't a card I was really thinking about. Opt, please. War Boss is definitely one that'll be on my radar if we play a game 3. Maybe this means Flame Sweep is worthwhile. Probably. I have nothing going on here, so if they have a way to kill this, they have a way to kill this. Now, the scary part here is my opponent's missed 2 land drops now, which means their hand currently has 4 spells in it. Slaying Fire. Woof. I'm gonna hold 1 land in my hand, but I think holding 2 is probably too many. My deck has a lot of cantrips in it, so being able to, like, cantrip and play the spells that we cantrip into seems important in the same turn. How the game's this been? Better than expected. I was expecting to be done after 45 minutes, and we're at an hour and a half now, so... Actually, just going to submit on the play. I think even with the War Bosses, I don't want the Flame Sweeps. I don't really have anything great that I want to cut here. Like, inventory is, like, the only thing I, like, really could cut. And, like, playing less than 4 of those is real loose. Yeah, my schedule for this week's a little bit different than what I have been doing because of both the raid segment today and the Magic set release on Thursday. So I am planning to do 2 Runeterra decks tomorrow and Wednesday, and then we'll be doing no Runeterra again on Thursday, Friday. So I can focus on Magic a little bit more when the set drops. Yeah, we had the full set list a while ago. No cat that turn. I'm gonna make a cat on their turn with Frantic Inventory. Feels Magic Man. See if we can find one of our 7 cards that lets us loot. Alright. Questing Beast. Okay, second. I think I'm gonna hold on to the shock for now. Rather than... Do I want to trade a cat here? I think the answer is yes. So I can hold on the shock for something like Legion War Boss. The people asking, is it worth doing something that I didn't do? I mean, obviously, I think the answer is no. So you're, like, welcome to form an argument as to why you think your play is better. But if I didn't make the play, I don't think it's worth making. Just a TLDR. So rather than say, hey, Jeff, question mark, do you think the play you made is bad? Instead, tell me why it's bad. Don't make me lecture you like I'm lecturing you now. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spells in 8 spells and 16 cards. Yep. Magic, the resource system in Magic adds an incredible amount of variance to the game. You're going to frequently lose games where you don't really get to make meaningful decisions because of it. Just how it goes. You kind of got to play the game and take your lumps. Our deck has more card selection in it than most, and even it is not immune to, you know, just flooding out and dying. With things like, Teferi and Scions, like, on average, we're going to have more action and less flood. But sometimes you just don't find those cards. You're just going to die. And naturally, if you're running the most unlucky, you're going to hit that amount of variance and die right before you get to your next rank floor. Normally I like to end on a high note. We've been going for like 90 minutes with this one. I don't know. I feel like we ended up in an okay spot. We cut Uros, and like, obviously Uro would have been nice against the red deck, but like, we also probably wouldn't have drawn Uro against the red deck there, because we had 2 games in a row where we didn't have any spells, so it's really hard to have a gauge on that. I felt like when we had a meaningful mix of... When we got to play Magic, our deck felt cohesive and reasonable. And honestly, if we're not just getting run over, like I mentioned, a deck with things like Teferi, Master of Time, and Royal Scions in it, these decks are going to get to play Magic more often than most decks in the game because they have this steady flow of card selection to help you hit that right mix of lands and spells. So these cards, I think, help mitigate issues like we had in that last match. But, you know, you're not always going to find them, and sometimes, you know, stuff happens. All right, at any rate, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while we get set up and flipped over from the next one. When we get back, we are going to try a variation of what I think is one of the better decks in the format right now. We're going to play some blue-white enchantments with a small red splash for Dorat, the perfect pet. We'll be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.